I forgot to do one thing. So so we're live. But I have to. So I asked this question at the end of every chat, but I want to start at the beginning because there's obviously a delay to get started. I always ask people this, and I've never asked you this. Are you a coffee or tea guy?
Coffee.
And are you hot or iced?
Hot. I'm
Ugh.
hot all year round.
For real, all year?
All year round, and I'm a black coffee guy.
There you go. There you go. I don't know if you've seen the coffee chat we have on the Torc Discord. We literally have just a coffee chat talking about the ways to drink coffee. So
I am not. I will say though, it's a little too early for me yet, but it's starting to get into. I do like Dunkin' Donuts pumpkin coffee.
Dunkin' Donuts. I have to say this. You are the epitome of Boston. Because you and I do our like one-on-ones, and you are drinking Dunkin' Donuts.
I do like Dunkin' Donuts.
You're literally like a walking commercial.
Yeah, I'm not a big like Starbucks or fancy coffee guy, but just some good old-fashioned Dunkin' Donuts is good by me.
I love it. Well, good morning, y'all. Welcome. It's been a minute since we've been live. I've been on a little bit of tour. I have to say, I want to give shout out to Dave. And I've worked it in my newsletter. I'm playing off of Taylor Swift Errors tour. So it's the Taylor Error, ERROR tour. So this is the originator behind that. So shout out Dave for that. But yes, I've been on the Taylor's Error tour the last 3 weeks, so there's been no lives. But excited to go live today with the boss. Actually, not to be confused with Springsteen, but this is the boss of Torc. So excited to go live here. And then I have to reschedule tomorrow. We have our all hands tomorrow, so I need to reschedule my live to Friday. But I have Jeff Blankenberg coming on. Fantastic guy. He's up in Columbus. Just took a job as a really a staff principal engineer. So super stoked to talk to him this week. But as always, say hey. Would love to hear from you. Again, it's what I tell folks. You know, I've done this live show now for 5 years. I was very aggressive. It's kind of my personality, as Dave is very well aware of now after working together for a year. I'm kind of balls to the wall. And so I did this live show every day for about 4.5 years. And so one thing I've realized over the last 6 to 9 months is this is really just this is a meetup, right? I tell folks, if you don't comment, no one knows you're watching or tuning in. And there's a lot of people in the Torc community. I actually just got a DM from Abby. Abby actually worked at Ronstadt years ago. She actually worked with Angie, Dave, and she actually messaged me. She's a developer now, and she messaged me. She goes, I can tell you have your Torc community trained right, because I've never had more intentional DMs about how we met. So again, for those of you watching, please say hey, slide into people's DMs, message Mess. He'll get back to you eventually. I don't know when, but he'll eventually get back to you. So tell him you saw him on Guidance Counselor 2.0. But again, like I tell folks, like if you have networked off the back of me for like 5 years, you would have an expansive network. And so please say hey, let us know where you're tuning in from. We have folks tuning in from all around the world, which is pretty cool. We do have some folks tuning in now. Toronto, it's good to see you. And just great to see you, brother. Ricardo, it's good to see you. Chris, great to see you. Kelly, Roxy, it's great to see y'all this morning. Want to give kind of some housekeeping things. I haven't done this in a minute, so I'm trying to refresh how I do things. But shout out to Appright. Me and Jason Torres are Appright heroes. I'm probably the only non-technical person on a technical heroes program. Listen, I don't code, but I know Appright is a pretty cool tool, so you should check them out, appright.io. If you do get in contact with anybody at Appright, tell them the Torc boys sent you over. And listen, we have a lot going on with the Torc community, as we'll talk about today, and kind of Mess's vision when he hired me and kind of where we're going. But check out torc.community. We have a lot going on. You know, I grew up in the age of non-cable television, and you would have the TV guides on what's going on. We have a TV guide on torc.community of all the events we're doing. Also, too, we're doing resume LinkedIn reviews this afternoon at 1:30 Central, so I'd love to have you. Also, if you do want to be updated on when I go live, shoot me a text. I text the folks in my community when we go live, so you can check this out. And I think that's it. We got a few more people tuning in. Erica, it's good to see you. Seth, it's good to see you. Jesse, my guy, calls boss mess, boss smiles. Yeah, exactly. Richie, it's good to see you. Thanks for the DM this morning, brother. I will get back to you. Jeff, it's good to see you. We got a few Torc ambassadors in here, Sebastian and Jeff and Roxy. All right. So enough with me yapping. Mess. So for the record, everybody calls Dave Mess. So when you hear me on the recording in the future, and now when I say Mess, that refers to Dave, who I'm interviewing, not a third person that's not in the room with us. So Mess, let's give the people what they want, man. Who are you? What do you do? And we'll go from there.
Yeah. And first of all, I saw Richie said he's in Atlanta. I'm heading to Atlanta tonight. So
yeah.
Want to send me any tips before I get down there. But hopefully you're going to meet Brianna from the Torc community there for dinner. So I'll hold her responsible for finding the right restaurant.
Yeah.
But Dave Messenger. So I was the co-founder and CTO at Torc. My background, I was actually a comp sci major and then went straight into consulting back in the day, kind of I'm old enough right before kind of the .com boom.
Yeah, you're like the mainframe days, right?
I never did mainframe. I'm not that old, but I don't know my COBOL too well. But I started actually my first project, believe it or not, my first really big project was Priceline.com, and there was like 20 people there.
No way.
I could tell you a lot of crazy stories and issues and different things that we survived and not, and went on to help with the Priceline founder do a couple different startups and different name your own price, from everything from started on hotels and airlines, to mortgages, to cars, to gasolines, to groceries. Did a little bit of everything there. And awesome. Then was at a couple other, I was at Kinkos.com. I just did at BestBuy.com, PG&E Energy, a bunch of different clients.
Nice.
Left that. So that was at this company called Talon back in the day. It was originally called BDS. And actually Mike Morris, the CEO and co-founder of Torc, and I we're both there.
That's awesome.
I met Mike. And then I went to another startup, which was called Amentra, which ended up getting bought by Red Hat, but I left after a year, maybe the wrong decision. But they did kind of mentoring. So the idea there was open source software development for companies. Like my big client was Merck Pharmaceuticals. But not only did we build an app for Merck, but we also trained Merck employees on like how to use, back in the day, like it was WebLogic.
Oh yeah, I remember recruiting WebLogic. Yep.
Yeah, so it was like Ant and JBoss and a lot of open source stuff.
Yeah.
And we had a whole curriculum. We would teach people that weren't on the project. So it helped us sell deals because we did kind of both mentoring and building the project with talent inside the company. And then Red Hat bought them for basically to become, because they did all the mentoring and stuff as their consulting arms when they needed a consulting partner.
Okay.
And let's see, then I went to Top Coder, which was very early on. That actually sort of spun out of Talon. At Talon, we built this app we called the Code Off, which was a platform to let everybody kind of compete against each other in a fun coding way. Okay. And Top Coder took that and said, we're going to go worldwide with that. And they actually started that about 8 months or about a year before I got there. And when I joined, Mike and I were there when they started a separate business called Top Coder Software, which was how do you use a community model to develop software. And believe it or not,
imagine that. I kind of call you in my circles like the grandfather of community, because was community really a thing? Like what year was that?
It was 2001.
2001. I mean, like community wasn't like, no one was talking about community like they're talking now.
No, I mean, the funny thing was we started it mostly in the US and it just grew virally all around the world. And it's funny, like if you look at like famous people, like you can still pull up Zuckerberg's Top Coder. That was before Facebook. He was a Top Coder member, competing.
No way.
Yeah. D'Angelo was the CTO of there. Drew Houston founded Dropbox. You had D'Angelo's CTO of Facebook.
They were all on Top Coder.
Yep. Steve Newman was the guy that founded Writely, which became Google Docs. He was a finalist, a top coder. Even now, if you look like Scott Wu, who's the founder of Cognition that just bought Windsurf, just got $500 million in funding from this week from Peter Thiel. He was a top coder champion.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. The guy that runs the data science group now for OpenAI, 2 of them were top coder members. Like top coder, we used to place people at huge hedge funds at Facebook, Google. We actually ran the Google Code Jam for 9 years. We ran the Facebook Hacker Cup for a few years. So that was fun. I actually flew all around the world, like helping Google open offices in like China, Brazil, Ireland, all using a kind of platform to help assess people.
I love that. I love that. And for folks joining, also Kelly, fellow Atlanta native, tune in. She's a dear friend of the Torc community. It's good to see you, Kelly. But it's funny. I'm actually asking Dave these questions because I don't know, because our entire one-on-ones are just spent just with a bunch of follow-up and strategies. So I'm just asking a lot of these questions to Dave just because I don't even know. So you left. So you were at Top Coder for a bit, right?
Yep.
Like 7 years.
Yeah, I left and went to a company called Aperio, which was kind of the first SI for Salesforce, because I wanted to go really focus on cloud and mobile. And we started another community platform there called Cloud Spokes. That grew to about 85,000 people.
Okay.
And then we actually bought Top Coder.
Okay.
And we reverse merged Cloud Spokes into Top Coder.
Okay.
Stayed there for a few years, and then Wipro bought Top Coder and Aperio.
Okay.
I kind of split them, and then I did a stint of 4 years at Wipro, and then Mike and I were always wanted to go back and kind of take a slightly different twist. Top Coder was a high level, like kind of really open innovation platform was one part of it. The other part was a different model for software development, which is component based and competition based.
Okay.
Which I think still is one of the best ways to develop software. But as you know, in any kind of company, it's what you can sell is really probably matters the most. So if you have the best thing, like, I'm going to date myself here, but like Beta was better than VHS, but no one bought Beta. So VHS wins out. So when we started Torc, we said, hey, we're going to do more staff augmentation, but we really wanted to be talent focused. And I still think that's what's unique about Torc is we want to have the best profiles. We want to be able to give developers more and more opportunities and let the best developers shine versus I think, not to throw shade at our competitors, but I think a lot are like, more like moving widgets of humans to different jobs. And that's never been kind of our intention.
So, yeah. So what you and Mike, and I kind of want to get nitty gritty. We have some time again. I've made these a little longer because of this, but like what you and Mike just like grab lunch one day and we're like, hey, we want to go back into this. I mean, because essentially it's not staffing, but at the end of the day, it's placing talent, right? So like what made you guys get so enchanted with your career where you guys wanted to start this again? It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah. I think, if you go back to the days, my first job, which was the BDS Talon, is we were really good. I think we were like great. Like we were a great company. But when you're 250 people, when you get to 500 people, it was kind of like back in those days, like, hey, can you spell Java? And unlike Taylor, Java is not a cup of coffee; it's a programming language.
There you go. There you go.
Then it's like, hey, here's a book, stick it on your desk and let anyone see it, and we're going to bill you out and put you over here. Like, if you look at like the big consulting companies, which is like back up the bus with the juniors or those sort of things. I always thought that was kind of a again, a model that worked really well, but not the right model to get software development done. So like, how do you find great people, give great opportunities, and have it where like, we always say kind of like managing your fantasy football team where you could swap in the right resource at the right time to get the right job done.
Yep.
And, and ideally, like, you don't want that person to be cut and sit on the waiver wire or whatever in fantasy football, but you're able to get that person another job where they can work on what they want to work on and show their privileges. So that was sort of what our intention was like, and when we started Torc, we were looking at, like Web3, verified credentials. Like, how do we give more of the talent ownership of their own profile, which is something we still want to do. We actually had it deployed. We turned it off because people at the time didn't really care. So we probably not the best decision that we made things that people weren't really ready for. But I still think that's the right way to go. Is you don't want to be we don't want to be a walled garden, right? Again, my
Yeah.
Boston accent probably hurts me here, but you don't want the profile to stay inside its own four walls. Like it should be able to go. If Torc can't help you, you should be able to go someplace else and
Sure.
get that job and not lose all your standing and credibility and things like that. So that sort of was the background of the Torc profile.
So I've asked this question a lot. I've had amazing community builders on the show recently. I kind of go through these little stints where it's like heavy community, then job search, and heavy community job search. Why do you think like community is the secret sauce, right? I think it's a secret sauce. You and I are very aligned. Why do you think this community first model, especially in the age of, call it what it is, staffing, is really the true indicator or the differentiator? Words are hard.
Yeah. I mean, I think, let me try a different way. So if I think now, I think someone recently, I think it was the Chesky at Airbnb just recently talked about it, is like hiring is hard. Not only is it hard, it's possibly the biggest mistake you'll make, right? Because it costs a lot of money. There's a lot of hidden costs. It's really, it can be a very painful experience on both sides. If you get hired into the wrong job and you kind of feel locked, if you hire the wrong person, it's super, super expensive. So to me, community where you are starting to understand people, you're starting to understand their wants, desires, you're kind of lifting, all tides lift all boats. Or
I've been trying to say that in our one-on-ones and I always mess up the same, but that.
Yeah, I messed it up as well. So, but being able to get people, kind of collectively be able to improve everybody and move everything up.
Yeah.
It just reduces risk because now, like you're no longer a number being run through an AI machine to figure out if the skill and that thing. It's like, hey, we know that, Jason Torres can kind of tie his own shoes and maybe can go down this route. But we got other people that can go down this other path that are, can contribute immediately, right?
Sure.
And that just helps de-risk it for everybody. Not only is it de-risking it for the talent, because the talent, and hopefully we have their best intentions and understand where they want to go and what they want to do with their career. That's some of the things we're trying to do. You'll see in the near future in the profile is like, hey, I'm really good in Java, but I want to learn Python. So like maybe we'll try to get you Python. Maybe that'll get you a little lower rate or something, or different opportunities to get Python, or maybe it's kind of small one-offs. But we'll be able to help manage your career in the right direction. And then from the company standpoint, they're not getting an unknown as much as I think you might. Even in the big consultant firms, is you meet a great partner, and next thing you know, you got 20 guys from a university coming out and hiding that book under their desk and coding for them.
Right. Yeah. What Kelly comes in here, she goes, a rising tide lifts all boats. I need to write that down so we can save that. Also, fun fact about me, I can tie both shoes at the same time. Okay. All right, Jason. So obviously it's actually my 1 year mark here. I hired last August with you. Let's do a little bit of review, kind of 1 year kind of in review. I know that, let's just kind of chat like a one-on-one, like, where have we gone? Or like, where have we been? What have you liked? What have you liked? Where do we want to go? Obviously we can talk about some Torc stuff as well, but just kind of give an overview of the last year and your thoughts.
Yeah. So last year, like I said, I think over my entire career, there's been ups and downs. I think last year, Silicon Valley Bank? That was probably a little over a year ago. That was that was kind of a rough start. Then hiring Taylor might have caused a lot of other anxiety. So those were the two, those are probably the two big issues we've had.
Yeah.
But we survived both those, and we got Taylor on board and get them going. Yeah, I mean, I think, what excites me is stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
I think we have barely scratched the surface. It's like
Agreed.
it's like the iceberg, right? Like we get the
Agreed.
little thing going up, but what's underneath the water and coming is like, if I could wave my magic wand, I'd like, one of the things we talked about now is like Taylor's KPIs
Right.
and what are we doing for the community? I mean, one of the things I think, it's not a KPI for next year, but maybe the year after or so, is I would love to see like total spend with the community. So that'd be like how much we pay and all the people placed out of the community, but also we have this concept of tasks, right? Like maybe there's something small that needs to be done. Like,
Yeah.
I know, like Jesse's been doing Discord bots. So like maybe we say, hey, here's an enhancement for that. We're going to pay X amount of money. Or like, we got small things that I know we want to get built, and that we don't necessarily, we may have the cash to pay, but we don't have the engineering talent or stuff. So how do we add like crowdsource gigs into things? But I think,
and that's one thing. I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. I think that's one thing that, and I want to give you props here publicly. I mean, even since the day I started, you've always wanted to flow back money to the dev community. I mean, that's something that you have talked about time and time again. Where does that come from? Where is that motivation? Why are you so big on paying the community for things? Obviously it makes sense, but I want to know where that motivation comes from.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's probably no, I wouldn't say it's a knock. Like, I think open source is very valuable, but also I feel like you also don't want to build on the backs of people without them getting compensated.
I agree.
So and I think in those models where you're getting free work and free labor, it's just not a conducive outcome. So like one of the things we did at Top Coder when we first started was we always said we're going to pay people for the work they do. Now, in some cases, that was a slightly different model. Like the way Top Coder work is we put out a unit of work and we'd say like, hey, go build this thing. First place is going to get $2,000. Second place is going to get $1,200. And then we'd pay 3 reviewers $500 a piece or something like that. And then they would fill it. We might get 3 or 4 people that submit code. The best person would get paid what they said they were going to get paid. The second person would get paid and then third and fourth wouldn't get paid. But you just got the experience, you got the code review, you got other things for it, and no one used that code.
Yeah.
So that maybe was not the best efficient use of talent.
Sure.
But and we couldn't pay everyone just because financially you can't pay them. But at least everybody knew kind of going into it, this is what you're going to get paid. This is what's going to happen. This is the risks you're involved in. But at least you get these things, and you end up building a profile, right? So I think, to me, that's it. And I think the other part is we've always been developer first, and we want to be a spot where developers feel they're not being taken advantage of, and that we want to kind of push the envelope there, where getting them and from a selfish standpoint, it benefits us too, right? Because
yeah, of course, yeah.
We can legally use that work as an IP. You've traded goods, you paid them money, you can use it. It gets them the opportunity to put something on their profile to show that they're good, and then it shows that they can maybe do other work for other people.
Sure.
So I think like over the next year, that's going to become a big piece.
Yeah.
And that's also like, I mean, other things I think are interesting is like even like the mentorship. Like right now, it's as we kind of figure out, it's volunteer, but is there a way we can pay the mentors to help?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's something that Jason and I have actively been talking about too, because again, for those of you watching and listening to this in the future, like, we appreciate everybody being patient with us, because we are building this thing from the ground up. I didn't know if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
No, we're talking. No, you're good. The amount of DMs you've probably already gotten in our phone in our conversation is probably a ton. No, we're just talking about just giving back to developers, but then also just telling folks like, hey, thanks for the mentor mentees, thanks for the ambassadors who are just taking a chance on us, and because, but I'm glad Mess said it, when it comes to compensation. I mean, listen, like we do want to give back monetarily to our community. I mean, that is a goal of ours, but it's just, I mean, we are building this thing real time.
Yeah. Yeah. The plane is flying as we put the wings on, or the car's driving as you're putting the wheels on. Kelly, you can give us the right slogan there.
Us and Sands. I mean, it's the blind leading the blind here. Let me ask you this. Talk about the platform, right? I know a lot of the ambassadors have asked us in ambassador meetings what's coming out. There's a lot of excitement for the new drop of the platform. Can you talk a little bit about where the Torc platform is going to go? Obviously at a super high level.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we got a new profile coming. Part of that profile is we want to make sure that we're showing people in the best light. The other thing I would say too is, like, we got thick skin and we want to make this a community for the developers. So if we're missing things, you don't like things, send all complaints to Taylor and send me all the praise. That's how it usually should work. But seriously, in all seriousness, just make sure that, be honest, be open, don't hold back. But we want the profile to be something that you can own, that you can use no matter where it is, and that it's extremely valuable to you. And that's where we're trying to have it, where it integrates with, like, we're pulling GitHub now, we'll pull in other feeds, other data. We want to make it very valuable for you people. You people sounds like a bad thing to say, but you know what I mean. And so we'll end up, one of the things next is Career Hub. So Career Hub is,
talk about that.
Yeah, it's like, what are you looking at now? What jobs do you want to get? How do you get there? And we have a couple different sources of data for that. We have some career and other data we're pulling in. We also have, behind the scenes, I don't know if people realize this, but
I was about to get into that, because I don't think people still realize what we're a part of and how it all works together.
Yeah. So, and one thing I probably have not done enough good job of speaking about is, so Torc is part of Randstad. We're going to be a big part of Randstad, especially in the next month. We're rolling out the Torc platform to all the US recruiting team. And, one of the things, I think, just a simple slogan that Randstad has is partner for talent, is that they want to be a talent first platform. Yeah. So it aligns extremely well with our vision. And so can't be happier to be part of Randstad now. In Randstad right now, it's slow for us. It's slow for Randstad. They get about 500 jobs a week. Like, I just ran a report for Taylor. I think we had 138 public jobs. Yeah. So eventually those will all show up on the platform as well. But behind the scenes, everyone's profile is going through, and we're trying to match people. We're trying to align people to the right jobs. When we launch this Career Hub, now we'll be able to show more of, hey, here's all the jobs we think you're the match for. So we're going to proactively match you to jobs. And that's pretty cool. Even if the recruiter hasn't matched you, we'll say, like, here are 3 or 4 jobs we think we've matched you to. And then you could say, like this one, don't like this one. The other pieces will be like, hey, here's perfect match. Here's like the next level matches. And maybe the next level matches, Jason has to tie his shoes better. So then the skills, like, prove that you can tie your shoes. Right. So, like, then maybe, and he, like you said, he knows how to tie both shoes at once. So he could actually prove that, and that moves him from, like, good to best. Right. And that'll help him show up better for that next job, or even for that job. And so being able to pull in, hey, here's how you've been looking across these 500 searches, and you say you want to be here, we can start coaching you to say, you've come up on all these matches, but here's a constant miss that we're not seeing your profile. Either we don't know about it or you've had it. So we can start coaching you to add that to your profile and add that to your online, prove it through an assessment or an interview. But that'll help you be able to get matched to more jobs or see more jobs, and ideally in the entire ecosystem.
Yeah. So essentially, because right now, kind of in state V1 that we're at, it's really just a place for you to create your profile and eventually get matched with all the recruiters in Randstad Digital, which is a tech practice. But what it's eventually going to become is a place where we can almost be your career coach in a way, where it's like, hey, you're not getting matched. you're not showing up in results. Here is how you can better your chances. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that. So let me ask you this. Let's kind of go backwards a little bit. And if anybody has any questions about the platform, definitely ask them because you have the boss on the line. So definitely ask them. But I want to go back to kind of some career stuff, and because a lot of folks are struggling right now in their job search. Job search is taking an incredible amount of time. Based off your career, what would just be some suggestions for you from you to job seekers right now to really just help level up their careers as somebody who's been in the game for so long?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I guess listening to you, I mean, I think networking is the best thing you can do. And something I still try to do, is go to meetups, local meetups, virtual
Yep.
things, get involved. Something else that I think reading books is huge.
Okay, you're old, but go ahead.
I'm an audiobook guy now, but I do think like listening to audiobooks, like when you go for a walk or doing the dishes or something, like I pick up a ton of things that's just interesting, and you can go chat with someone, ask someone about that, or like I would say like now there's so many things on AI or pieces on AI or podcasts. I'm a podcast addict. I listen to probably too
Same.
much podcasts, but being able to, I think, get engaged with content and then be able to follow that up with like discussions or talk to people. So, and I think the other thing that's interesting to me, I think I actually heard, well, who said it? I think it was the guy. Geez, I can't remember his name. But the guy from Oxide Computers, um, and he said the thing that he likes the best is when someone says, "Hey, I got a dumb question," which is I think is interesting. Is like where it almost shows, and maybe they don't use those terms in actuality, but people like where you are intentionally trying to learn or expand your knowledge or very interested in a topic. So that idea of having a dumb question, I think, is great. I think where you have people that are kind of almost trying to ask you questions where it's like, hey Taylor, I'm trying to ask you about community, but what I'm really trying to do is step on your toes and show you like how much I know about community because I'm trying to kind of turn one over on you.
Sure.
I think those questions aren't as acceptable. So like if I'm learning the job search now is like having those kind of humble, like, hey, I'm really interested in this space. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to get into it. Connecting with people. I think those would be kind of the spots I would go after is try to do that. I think the other pieces is use the resources you have, like the resume reviews we have here, talking to the team at Torc, other mentors, other people. I think is really important, just to kind of get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike Morris brought up the mentors. Like he was like that was his big thing, is like finding a mentor. I guess he's had a mentor for his entire career. It was obviously a few months ago he said it, but there's been one guy who's been consistent throughout his career.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. It's like, yeah, finding the right people, being able to chat with different people. Like, I still have, we don't do it all the time, but like guys I worked with in previous jobs, like, hey, I'd like to stay in contact. Can we just put something on the calendar every 6 weeks?
Yeah.
May get canceled and we may only meet once every 18 weeks or something like that, but at least it's like an excuse to stay together.
Yeah.
So like I think that mentoring connections, and then if they hear something, just that they know that you're looking is helpful as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to glance over. Sebastian brought up a good question. He's one of our ambassadors. So Torc is in the process of making a more interactive profile with badges and activity. Do you think this would be a good portfolio to present? I'm assuming to maybe other clients he's interviewing with.
That is our goal. And
Okay.
we want to, I know our downloadable version of it is pretty junky right now, to be frank.
Okay.
But we'll make that better. But yes, I think like being able to go through and look at it, and be able to share it to people, that's our goal, is we want it to be yours.
Yeah.
And if you think the stuff on there that should look better or have different pieces, happy to do that. In fact, Taylor, I'm happy to even walk through the prototype now.
Yeah, dude, let's do it. If you want to, so actually, I'm really glad you're doing this, Sebastian. Thank you for this. If you want to go to the, no, that's not it. Go to the plus, like the screen with the plus on it. Do you have that?
Hold on,
At the bottom, the screen with the plus, and then oh wait, there we go. Boom.
Is that working?
Let's go. Look at this.
Let's say I'm not plugged into 2 monitors, so this is a little bit different for me.
I love it. You guys are getting a sneak peek. Some of the folks have seen this, if you are in the Torc Discord, but we have not shared this publicly like this, so this is huge. So yeah, go ahead.
So this is basically our community page. So this will be like where articles and things come up, who's contributed in them, who's writing them. You know, and this is something we want you guys to contribute and add your own content, your own,
yeah, which is coming,
and that'll be huge, right? And the idea is to eventually personalize this too. So if you are, you know, a Java developer, you might see something else. If you're a creative designer, you might see different articles. So have some personalization around this. This is just a Figma prototype. We'll go through this. So this is the internal view.
Hey, look at that ugly mug. Look at the ugly mug.
Yeah. So the idea here is when you're looking at this. Now, this is, I think, sort of an innovative view.
I think this looks. Yeah. I mean, I think this looks great.
Yeah. So this is like, and this is the internal view. There's a public view of this too. It looks similar, but one of the things we heard from the recruiters is they want to see like what companies were you working at, what skills did you show when you were working. Now there'll be gaps and other things in here. This is kind of a prototype, but being able to see very quickly, like, hey, you were recently at Google, you worked on these things, being able to show those skills, and we'll have the ability to click into them so you can see different milestones or certifications or stats you've done with those technologies. That's kind of what we're trying to do from an excitement standpoint, is being able to do these pieces. The other thing we're looking at here is this concept of boosting. This may or may not be live by the end of the year, but this will be, hey, I'm looking for a job right now. And if you have done certain things, you'll get extra ability to kind of push yourself to the top because you've done more things in the Torc community. You've been participating. So it's to reward people that are participating in the community with the ability to say like, hey, boost me now. And that'll be for like a period of time.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah. So it's like you get points, like maybe it's like logging into the Discord for so many times, which and this will give you kind of different ideas on how your profile is. You can look at, so boosted here, you can see if you're boosted, it'll be for a time period and you'll be able to see more pieces. This is your career chapters, which is sort of a different view, but the idea here is to show and call out like, hey, I've done TypeScript, and see the different, this will kind of automatically happen for you. And then the ability to add milestones like events or awards or things that you've had, so kind of stand out. So the idea here is like, how do we make the resume look a lot nicer? I mean, if you gave me our salespeople and people talking to clients might not like this, but I would love to kill the resume at the end of the day.
Yeah. And, well, I think that's one of the things we do, right? I mean, like, you know, I'm helping clients hire all over the world right now with some of my connections. Like, we don't send resumes, like we send profiles.
Yep. And so we want to eventually show soft skills. The scorecard will be more fun. Like, here's assessments and certifications, have different achievements you can earn and badges. And this is, I think you were saying from a portfolio, is we want to have the ability to have projects. So these are things that you may have done on your own, but the ability to kind of give a way to show like, what have you done on your own? What are you doing outside of work? Could be anything. Could even just be like, you know, if you're, you know, my karaoke skills, because just maybe you want to show something like that. I don't know what you want to do, but
well, I think the projects are huge. I'll never forget, and I've told this story countless times, but I was recruiting back at Vaco. A client needed a handful of .NET engineers with solid Azure experience, specifically Azure Functions. And I interviewed a guy I really liked him. I still remember his name. His name was Adam. And I was like, hey, Adam, like, you know, your resume is great from a .NET perspective, but do you have any Azure experience? He was like, well, I'm actually not professionally, but he goes, I am working with a company to redo blah, 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 and it's all in Azure. So I think being able to showcase projects is a huge way to get your name in the door, even if you don't have professional experience.
Yeah, and this here will pull in other data, like we have the GitHub sync. Yeah, so you'd be able to, I don't think we have it in the mock-up here, but
Okay.
you'd be able to edit and add the resume. Adding the resume as you enter in data. We also have the ability to pull your LinkedIn data, assuming your LinkedIn profile is public. We obviously, if it's private, we can't do anything with that, but we can pull in your public LinkedIn data. So we have that today.
And I think too, like, I think being able to pull in, you know, I want to give a shout out to Kelly, you know, on the stream right now. Like, we've gone live quite a few times. And we have another one on the books here soon, but you know, she's a senior engineering manager at Zapier right now. She was a director of engineering at a startup. We've talked about the power of, like, hey, like, maybe you have an email newsletter where you talk about API development. And if I'm hiring for an API engineer, I want to be able to see any of that documentation. So it'd be cool, you know, again, to pull in different places on the internet to make more of a holistic view about your profile.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're actually Zapier clients. We use Zapier a lot in the platform. So
there you go. There you go.
I now know where to send all my complaints to as well.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else you want to highlight, man?
And this is like your perfect job fits we talked about. So this is like showing, like, hey, you get 5 or 6. Here's the rates. Here's the salary. So you can kind of see these would be jobs that we call it a reverse match. So where the talent hasn't you haven't officially been matched to it yet, but we think you're a good fit for it. If you're a good fit for it, you could still apply and indicate interest and kind of push yourself to that recruiter.
I love that.
Let me just skip ahead to. So this is the career path.
Okay, this is great. I haven't seen this actually.
So this is, I don't know if we could have should have put a little bit more than junior for Jason here, but if he wants to become a regular front-end developer, creative, or UX or designer, you know, it kind of shows, hey, right now for UX engineer, there are 8 new jobs in that category. He doesn't really fit that too well, but so we would then be able to kind of show where what is good for him, or what he could do to get to a UX engineer. So you can kind of see different paths and data.
Okay.
This here is trying to show you, like, where where you are now and the gaps of your skills, and then have scorecards and pieces where you could come in and add more data or take a test or show your other pieces. So this is also where this upskill here is. So kind of giving the ability of people to look at that and try to find spots where they could improve.
I love it. And again, this is cross-referencing all of the jobs and data for Ronstadt Digital, which is, you know, arguably a $250 million practice. So we'll be able to, you know, cross-reference all that data. So we're pulling in all this jobs data, we're pulling in your data, and our best and our goal is to be able to guide you the best we can throughout your career based off the data we're seeing.
Correct. It's basically will be like what we've seen from searching and across jobs, in addition to we do have some career pathing data service as well. So it's kind of our own secret sauce on top of that across a variety of different spots. And the goal is to have this live by the end of the year.
I love that. I love that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. All right. Any last wise words of wisdom before we wrap up here? I got some rapid fire questions for you, but I didn't know if you had any last words of wisdom, encouragement, thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think be active, be proactive. You know, whatever we can do to make the experience toward community. I think one of the things I always say is community is what the community is, right? Like, we can try to set the norms of, like, what's acceptable, what we want the community to be, what we need the community to be. But it really comes down to the people in the community that are they having fun? Are they enjoying it? Are they driving what they need? Where the community should go? And so we are happy to listen. And in fact, if we're not listening and not reacting to what the community needs, then I think it's a loss for everybody involved, for both sides. So we definitely don't want to be up here and dictating what should and shouldn't happen.
Yeah, agreed. All right, rapid fire. You ready?
Yep.
What's one tech tool or app you can't live without right now, just in your own personal day to day?
Oh, geez. Probably my least favorite app is the calendar. I hate calendaring and getting anything with calendaring done, but between having 4 kids, trying to manage Taylor and everybody else, it's impossible to, like, without my calendar, constantly looking at it and figuring that whole thing out. But also at the same time, I know people have tried to reinvent the calendar 1,000 times, but I feel like it's still like next to impossible to have like a family calendar, a work calendar, this kind of calendar. It's like,
Yeah.
so I think it's like the best and worst thing that I have going on right now.
I love it. I love it. Let me ask you this. What is the very first job you ever had that you got paid for?
I was a janitor at
No way.
an off-Broadway playhouse and like North Shore Music Theater and outside of Boston. And
That's awesome. Are you a
I did.
theater kid at heart, man?
I enjoyed it. I swept floors, picked up popcorn, did parking lot attendant, even did some security.
There you
I once
go.
did security for Bill Cosby and Joan Rivers and a few other
Did you
people.
really?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
security
crazy.
was like just sit outside the door,
Yeah,
make
yeah,
once you're
yeah, yeah.
going. It wasn't rough and tumble as a 18-year-old or 17-year-old.
Sure, sure. That's awesome. Let me ask you this. Because Torc, I mean, we're fully remote, right? I mean, people ask me like, where's Torc HQ? And I'm like, well, we go to Boston for all hands. If you had it your way, would you get the Torc team in the office 1 day a week, 3 days a week, once a month? Like what's your, as a leader of the organization, if you could have it your way, what type of cadence would you want on site versus remote?
I would say quarterly on site.
Quarter, like for a week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the other option would be maybe once or twice a year as a company,
Yeah.
and then give groups the ability to meet more frequently. Like if you said, "Hey, I want to get the community team here,"
Yeah.
get the community team together for a quarter or something. But I think like pay once or twice as a company, and I think like if you're saving money by not having physical space, that gives you the opportunity to do that stuff.
Yeah, the last company I worked at, I did like their cadence. A business unit would come on site once a quarter for a week. So like 1 week we'd have market, 1 month, 1 quarter we had marketing, the next quarter we had sales, the next quarter we had engineering. And I thought that was a pretty good cadence. So I like that. Let me ask you this. Oh, go
The
ahead.
other thing I would do is instead of going on site to one spot, I'd rather do like
Oh, same.
do a tour,
Oh, same.
right? And then we could
Yeah.
have a
Content will go crazy.
Yeah, we could have a community meetup at whatever location we end up at.
We should do a Vail meetup. Sebastian, on site with these folks would be wild. Yeah. It would. Yeah, we have a good team. Let me ask you this. When you were a kid, what did you originally want to grow up to be? I'm sure it was not CTO of a community first talent
No.
platform.
I did. I always wanted to be in tech.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I liked, playing. Well, I mean, first and foremost was probably the NBA, but considering I stopped growing, it really wasn't in the cards for me. I probably peaked my junior year, but yeah, I always liked I remember my dad brought home a kind of PC clone. It was a Xerox PC, and I was in high school. I was able to write BASIC on it. I had the 2400 baud modem that made that awful ear screeching noise.
Yeah.
And I wrote some BASIC, played some kind of old BBS online games, and it was all text based. Used Pine for my email. But we didn't even we just had dial up back in like the early 90s, late 80s.
That's awesome.
But
so
yeah,
you're always a nerd. You're always a nerd at heart.
Yeah.
I love it. What's one career mistake you're oddly grateful for?
I mean, I guess I probably made a lot of mistakes.
Sure.
One I think is two are probably one is I left the job. Maybe maybe should have stayed with that elementary company because it did
Yeah.
really well and went forward. But if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have gotten into top code. I wouldn't have got into remote work. I wouldn't
Isn't
have
it
got
funny how it
into
all works?
yeah.
I love that. Well, two more questions. Let me ask you this. If you weren't in tech, so if I tell you tomorrow morning, Dave, you can't do anything in tech anymore. Money's the same. What career path would you chase? What would you do if you couldn't do this anymore?
That's easy. I think two things. I would love to own like a bed and breakfast and like
I could see you doing that. I bet it
have
would be
like
lit too.
I have a
Yeah.
little bar and be able to do a little cooking and
Yeah.
I think on a beach somewhere.
Okay.
Uh,
There you go.
the other thing I would say is I would love to be a sports coach. So like, I mean, obviously like at like the NBA or NFL level would be awesome. Although I don't know if the life is, but I think even better than that would be like unified sports, like doing stuff with people with disabilities and
That's
like
awesome.
having the two together would be like really rewarding. And it'd be like, just an awesome, it's just an awesome experience. I have a couple kids with some disabilities, so it's a lot of fun.
I love that. Your restaurant could be called the Mess Hall.
There you go. I like it. I'm gonna have to.
All right. Last question, and we'll wrap up here. The show's called Guidance Counselor 2.0 because we had guidance counselors in middle school, high school, and college, but now as adults, we don't really have a guidance counselor to turn to and ask for general career advice. What would be your biggest piece of career advice if you could go back and tell young Dave?
And after hearing this podcast several times, I should have been prepared for this, but I'm not prepared off the top of my head. I mean, I guess, you ever hear the joke that there's two types of, how you tell the difference between an introverted and extroverted engineer?
What?
The introverted engineer looks at your shoes and looks at his shoes when he talks to you, and the extroverted engineer looks at your shoes when he talks to you.
Yeah.
Is don't be afraid. Just go out and talk to people. Just go mingle, chat with people. Get yourself out there. Ask those dumb questions. I think, and explore what you think's interesting. So like, just kind of take the bull by the horns. Like I think probably at the beginning I was maybe a little bit more passive, like wanted to be a pleaser. What do you want me to do? I'll go do it. I'll run this down, chase this down, and it worked really well for me. But I think at the same time, I probably didn't like. And at the same time, I will also say, I think the people that say like, "Hey, you should just go explore your passion." Well, it's tough to explore your passion when you gotta get a paycheck to pay the bills. But,
yeah, I know.
But you gotta, I think, being able to, I think the advice would be just get yourself out there and don't be afraid, right? Like, and I think people overall are probably more supportive and more willing to help than you realize.
Yeah, I agree. Which is what we're trying to build here, right? I mean, everybody's helping everybody in the Discord right now. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
So Tehran, I guess, tuned in late, but we got to answer it again because it's become such a staple. Talk about coffee or tea. Talk about your setup.
Coffee, black tea. If I go out to buy it, definitely Dunkin' Donuts is my preferred vendor of coffee.
Obviously.
I will occasionally, I do like pumpkin coffee, the pumpkin flavor, and that's the only thing I'll get if it's not black, and only if it's Dunkin' Donuts. But that said, I really dislike, and I'm very anti right now, all the Halloween decorations and pumpkin. It's still the summer right now. I like to hold on for another week or two and get rid of all that.
As we were live, I got an email for fall scented candles. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah. I'm not.
It's 98 degrees yesterday in Nashville. Like we got time.
Yeah, I met a friend, as you said, networking for a beer recently, and he ordered a pumpkin beer. And I said, "Dude, it's August. You can't have a pumpkin beer right now. Like, are you kidding me?"
Yeah, I love it. And Mess does hot coffee all year round, which is
hot coffee all year round. Yeah,
that's absolutely terrifying. Awesome. Well, Mess, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you a lot.
Yeah, that's a blast.
Yep. For those of you, go connect with Mess after this. This is the first hour. This is the first full hour session I've done. So we're going to do more of these, much more nitty gritty, much more conversational, be able to kind of dive in a little bit more. So if you have not joined, obviously we'd love to have you in the Discord. Love for you to create your profile. And we'll see you probably Friday, as long as Jeff confirms with me. But Mess, stay on so I can say bye to you off stage. But y'all have a good one, and we'll tentatively see you guys on Friday. Peace.
Thanks, everybody.